5 of the supports right now are just not that viable.
I don't think we should just say like, oh, it's okay if you don't want to call a character what they are called in lore, because it feels like disrespectful to people who are non-binary.
It might just mostly be a console thing, like with the hatred and stuff towards Venture.
Welcome back to OverThink, the game show where I ask contestants a series of Overwatch hot takes to see where they stand. Feel free to play along in the comments to let me know what your opinions are on these hot takes. And if you'd like to actually be on an episode, go ahead and sign up in my Discord. I host these live on my Twitch channel most Sundays, so please go follow me on there to catch a show live. And lastly, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, real quick before we start the video, I just wanted to say that it's not too late to sign up for my fun interactive community event. The event will last all of July and into early August. If you like Overwatch, Minecraft, and games like Jackbox, listen up. People who sign up will be split into 3 teams that'll be battling for points through multiple ways, such as Overwatch pickup games, Minecraft village building competitions, Jackbox community games, and even an Overwatch tournament too. There's also other fun ways to get points for your team if you're not really feeling the gaming, as we have weekly challenges that you can work on with your teammates to earn points. If this wasn't fun enough, we also have items that you could use to buff up your teammates or yourself, and even items that could debuff enemy teams and players. I'm even going to host special game shows like Overthink and Imposter Watch specifically just for the event participants to join. I'm genuinely really excited for this event. It's always a blast and a great way for participants to make friends and meet new people. Best of all, there is zero commitment. So if you join but decide you don't want to anymore or don't have the time to participate, that's totally okay too. If any of this interests you, you could check out more information in my Discord server and join a team there. Anyways, enough yapping from me, let's head straight to the video. Characters with invulnerable forms such as Venture's Dig, Reaper's Wraith, etc. should not be able to contest while using that ability. Alrighty, we have nobody in agree, nobody in somewhat agree, nobody in neutral, most of the people in somewhat disagree, and then 1 person in disagree. So let's hear from 2 people in somewhat disagree. Who would like to take it away first?
I do see how it can sometimes be annoying when like someone can contest while they're invulnerable, but I also feel like it's such a minor issue. Like, I also think you can't push anything while you're like in your invulnerable state, so only being able to contest, I feel like it's balanced enough and it lasts like not too long, so I don't really find it too overpowered or anything.
I think I like how it is right now with how Venture can contest the payload, but he can't push the payload at all, which I think is perfectly fine. Like, cap it.
I think it's fun. I like it. I don't know. I just think it's fun.
Support is overpowered.
If this was before Season 9, I would have been all the way in agree, but since the DPS passive was changed and the health pools got, like, increased, I feel like it's been a little more manageable. I still think they just have really bloated kits that kind of play themselves most of the time. So it's not as bad as it was before Season 9, but it can still be really frustrating to deal with some of the really, like, crazy abilities that they have.
I like to disagree that they're OP, because, like, most of the time you can catch them off guard. Some of the abilities are annoying, like Rico, TP/cleanse, or like getting slept by an Ana, but like a lot of the time the Ana doesn't hit the sleep and it's a free kill.
I have to agree with that. Supports don't really give me that much of an issue, honestly. Most of the times, a lot of them are off position, or I can just easily catch them off guard and it's easy for me to secure the kill. The only time I actually have trouble with is if the supports are constantly peeling for each other, but most of the time I'm just able to pick one by off. So it's pretty, they don't give me an issue.
After Season 9, after the DPS 20% reduced healing, I think supports have been struggling a bit. Like 5 of the supports right now are just not that viable in pro play or like top 500 GM, and that characters like Kiriko and Lucio are like must picks at that sort of range on most maps.
I feel like there is no valid excuse to misgender Venture.
If you call Venture like a he or like a her, it's not like gonna affect Venture at all. Like Venture's just pixels. It's really not that hard. Just say them or just say the word Venture.
I feel like a lot of this is new for some people, so a lot of people will, I mean, by accident, I think it is completely fine. A lot of people will just accidentally mess up, and sometimes, and as someone who's just like kind of similar to Venture, and the fact that I'm non-binary, I mess up too sometimes. I feel like it's fine if people just mess up. In other cases where it's intentional, that's that's obviously, you know, a whole different issue. But mistakes happen, and I feel like that's perfectly fine, and it's a valid excuse.
I'm kind of with you on that. I just went with somewhat disagree instead because it was more closer. Because I can definitely see how people can just misgender Venture by just not knowing.
I think what Melo said was pretty on brand. I think I'm just being more lenient with it being such a new thing, especially in gaming. As long as the intention is not bad at all, I don't really see an issue with it. As long as they are like actively trying to correct themselves and like, you know, slowly improve. Like it took the Overwatch community a long time to go from like McCree to Cassidy, and I feel like we're kind of in a similar spot right now with people misgendering Venture. So I give a lot of leeway to people.
For Venture, I feel like it's okay if you misgender them completely.
Why?
I think it's fine. Just because like people do it by accident and like people just don't care and that's just how they feel. Like just let them be them, you know? Just let them be them. Like I don't think it should be a huge deal misgendering Venture at all. I just think that you should like be okay with using the pronouns if you want. But like if you're really uncomfortable saying them, I think it's okay. You don't say them. And plus people just forget.
I don't think we should just like say like, oh, it's okay if you don't want to call like a character what they are called in lore, because it feels like disrespectful to people who are non-binary, like saying like, oh no, it's fine, you can like call them whatever you want. I just feel like that's disrespectful to people who feel themselves represented in the game finally. And for a lot of people this was a really important character to be added, so when people just like are fine with misgendering, I feel like it is a disservice not to like the character but to people who are finally like seeing themselves in a video game, which means a lot to a lot of people, like me too.
I do agree with that point. I think that you should, if you want, I think that you should try your hardest. If you can't, then I'm okay with it. But like that could be completely different for people who are non-binary and stuff, but just what I think.
Can I ask, so you say, but if they can't, what would stop somebody from using they, them pronouns?
Like if they're like religious or something and they just cannot accept that. Like I don't hang out with those people like at all, but if I don't care, because I sometimes end up calling other characters different gendered names. Like I call Cass, I'll say she, her to Cass or whatever. I'll be like accidentally doing that. Like I do it all the time with characters. I'll sometimes say Tracer's a he.
Venture is one of the most difficult heroes in the game.
I think Venture is semi-difficult because the amount of things you can do with Barrow is like unmatched by any other ability that isn't duplicate. And like certain walls you either slide off of or bump off of, and like learning and memorizing which walls do that is also pretty difficult.
I feel like Venture is pretty easy to play. For me, I struggle with aiming, and I personally find Venture just quite easy to aim with, and a lot of it is relying on their abilities as well, which I find pretty easy. The only thing I like slightly disagree on, I find them a bit difficult in like timing, like usage of abilities and when is the right time to use it, but that's pretty much it. I feel like they are pretty much an easy character to learn.
I think it's just about timing and when you choose to go in. And I like when the burrow, you have more of a view and you can see enemies. It's just choosing on what to do. But besides that, character is not hard.
I think Venture's pretty like easy to pick up. Like I climbed from, I think it was Plat 3 to Masters just only playing Venture, and I just had a lot of fun. Like I didn't play too seriously, just had fun, kind of just did my thing, because I Venture kind of matches my playstyle, unlike some other characters.
Venture's ult is too strong.
I'd like to say that I think Venture's ult on its own is kind of mediocre, but like if you combo it with like other ults, it can be really good. Like Ilari's ult, Grav, Shatter, Orisa ult, like most tank ults, or even Mei ult as well. But I don't get that often because Mei's not played a whole lot.
It's a very good combo. I like using it while people are walking in after their tank, but then you can cut off their heals sometimes. But yeah.
With how many characters have like vertical mobility or like wall climbs and vulnerabilities, or even just like a shield, it's kind of hard unless you're hard flanking, but then everyone just turns and looks at you and you have to leave anyway to get any value out of it. I think it can be very situational based on like what comps the enemy team is playing, but if they're playing like specific characters, there's just nothing your ultimate can do. And I would also argue that like most DPS ults in the game are really strong when comboed with other ults, so I think it's just okay.
I think Venture's ult is pretty counterproductive on what Venture wants to play. Like with Venture's ult, you need to be in the wide open and pretty far away from them. And you can't use your abilities or else you just can't attack either. And some characters that really counter Venture pretty hard, like Pharah, Cassidy, Roadhog, Venture's ult is pretty bad against those characters. Like, you need to 3-tap Cassidy, you can't even hit Pharah, and your ultimate doesn't do enough damage to kill Roadhog.
Because I am a Venture main, I see a lot more homophobia and or transphobia.
I personally feel like it might just be because I'm on console and everyone just trash talks each other like crazy. Every like few games, I get some person saying an F slur or like saying some transphobic stuff, and it is a bit annoying, but yeah.
Ever since like Venture's release, my friends that are homosexuals have been calling Venture an it instead of they or them. And it's like not in a joking manner either. I think it's just coming from a hatred of like non-binary people and how they're like weird or something.
I really haven't had any experiences with anyone saying like that. I mean, I can definitely see it existing a lot. Maybe just because I don't use voice chat in game too much, so probably that.
I have to agree with Madbux's point. Personally, in my games, a lot of people have been more respectful than anything, and I have never had any bad experiences apart from a couple times. In game, I don't see a lot of just weird people like that online and on like social platforms, for example. I see it a lot more, but in game, I've never run against any players like that. A lot of people have just been more respectful than anything.
When I pick Venture, my team asks me to change and or will proceed to throw.
I personally feel like people ask me to change, but it's mostly if they're going like Pharah or Echo, or they have like a Roadhog and I can't do much to that, and the other DPS is lacking in damage, and they want me to go someone who's more high damage and not so much flanking around and trying to get picks on the supports, because the rest of my team's getting torn apart by a tank player.
I think it depends on the map. On Secret Royale and Parasito, I think it's more common, mainly because Venture's just not very good on those maps.
I haven't had this happen to me. I mean, maybe once or twice. Not really much of a common occurrence here.
At least for like, there was that little bit where they weren't too great after they got nerfed, but with like the recent buff, they're pretty good again. I don't know if I've ever had anybody ask me to switch off the character, but I don't know if that's different across like console. There might be like some kind of like console stigma around Venture where they're not great. I'm not sure.
I would like to add on to that. How many of you guys in the disagree are on PC? Jump up if you are on PC. So like a majority. It might just mostly be a console thing, like with the hatred and stuff towards Venture.
I was gonna say that I do think it might be a rank thing too, because I don't really play competitive that much, so I've never been asked to switch, but I feel like if I were to play more Venture and competitive, I would probably be asked to switch off more if there was like certain comps on the enemy team that or if I just wasn't doing well. I do think ranked might have something to do with that.
I play Venture because I feel like I could identify with them.
I am non-binary, so when Venture first released and it was kind of announced that, you know, their character was queer and non-binary, I was just really excited to kind of feel represented in a character like that. And not only that, I just Venture's character in general was someone that I kind of relate to and personally really like. So not only do I like the voice actor and character design and abilities, they're also non-binary on top of that. And I feel like it is good to see that representation because I feel a lot comfortable with it. And I also relate to Venture because I see myself a lot in them. So yeah.
Pretty much same as yeah. It's funny because I'm also a non-binary, but when I found out that Venture was Mexican Canadian, I was very excited because I'm also Mexican Canadian. I moved to Canada not long ago. It was very exciting to see the character that I could really relate to a very personal level. Not only that, but their voice, their personality, everything about them was like so new to me in Overwatch terms. I was very excited about everything about them.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that's so sweet. I love that like games are now adding like characters that people can really relate to, and I just really like seeing stuff like that. So I first picked up the character because I just thought they were fun to play, and then like after a while, like I started realizing, oh wait, this might be me, haha. So now I go by he they pronouns, and so this character does mean a lot to me in that sense. But originally I started started playing them because I just like the kit. So yeah, this character's pretty cool.
I went on the neutral part because like I relate to the character like on a level of like their personality and stuff, but not like at all with the non-binary stuff at all, because like I'm kind of like I'm happy and like goofy and whatever sometimes, like most of the time. Always fascinated about like rocks and stuff too, like a rock eater, I guess. Like I'm just here because I'm not non-binary and I just like the character like themselves because I think they're very fun to play and they got a really good personality.
I just really love the kit. That's mostly it. I like saying voice lines a lot, mostly in a shaggy voice though. So I don't know if that counts.
I don't really relate to the character like at all, but I do love Venture, and I love playing them as well. I'm not non-binary, I'm not an archaeologist, I don't even go outside, I just play Overwatch in my room all day.
That was the last hot take that I have for y'all. Something we'd like to do to end the show is I want y'all to look at the camera and I want you to drill into it. You're gonna drill the viewers real quick while saying subscribe to ChristalRaine. All right, that is a threat. All right, go ahead.
Subscribe.
To the 1, to the 1, to the 3. I play easy mode and I play to win. I love to die and I like to BRB. All systems checked out. Group up with me. 2 to the 1, to the 1, to the 3. I'm here to party. GG. A giant gorilla can keep up with me. You can